Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well as well as teach well. And also peace and salutation to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And the title of this video is going to be, This World Has Gone Mad. Alright, this world has gone mad. And here you see it, I have on the screen the word mad from etymonline.com. It says, disordered in intellect, demented, crazy, insane. Alright. And then it says, out of one's mind. Okay, out of one's mind. Then it says, usually implying also violent excitement. Alright. So as we just read, one of the meanings of the word mad, it goes into being disordered intellectually, all right, out of one's mind, even to the point to where you get violent, all right. And those are just some of the things that describes this current society, all right. These people are dumbed down, and a lot of it is due to all the confusion that's being put out via the news, the so-called education, the pseudoscience, the pseudo technology, the false history, okay, the misinformation that's being spread throughout this world, all right. And as well as I went into, you are usually implying also violent excitement, all right. It's led to a lot of people being out of their minds, all right, losing their damn minds, to the point to where people are extremely violent. Okay, road rage incidents where people are basically have so much anger balled into them on a daily basis to where if they're driving down a road and somebody just simply skips in front of them on a road in their lane, they'll be willing to hop out of the car and fight them. Okay, fight them to the death, damn near. Busting out their windows, pulling out weapons and guns on them in the middle of the road and whatnot. All right, and then but overall, we've seen an uptick in crime over the past 4 years. More stealing, more kidnapping, more homicides, more carjackings. Okay, domestic violence, all these things. All right. And it's all, due to this world going mad, going insane, crazy, as it's just read. Then it goes into also foolish, extremely stupid. Okay? Foolish and extremely stupid. So this is an extremely stupid world that we live in. Alright? Foolish. Hey, because what does it say in Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter in the Old Testament? Folly is set in great dignity. Alright? By way of the rulers thereof. All manner of folly and foolishness and silliness, all right, is set in great dignity in this world. All right, these TikTok dances, all these trends that's all over social media and whatnot. All these people that's on social media with all these platforms, okay, spreading all this information and misinformation all throughout the internet. Talking on close to the screen, pointing. All right. It's just all, a lot of it is just all folly at the end of the day. Okay. Set in great dignity. Okay. And a lot of people, follow after these trends and these dances and whatnot. Okay. And continue these trends of foolishness and madness into the earth. Then it says rendered insane. Then it goes down. Right here, it says changed for the worst. Changed for the worse. Changed for the worse. Abnormal. All right, and that's exactly where the society is at right now. It's changed for the worse. Okay. All manner of wickedness being spread throughout the earth via Esau, Edom, through this beast system, America, NATO, and the EU. Okay, ever since Esau came out of the caves, during the early 1400s, during the beginning of the so-called Renaissance period. All right, when Esau came out of the caves during the Renaissance period, what did he spread forth throughout the earth? Okay, ancient Greco-Roman, ancient Greco-Roman philosophies and ideas and mindsets and values into the earth. Okay, the ancient Greco-Roman way. Okay, because when you go in the Apocrypha in the book of Maccabees, all right, real quick, this is First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 1, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chetam, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. Okay, talking about Alexander the Greek, known in this world as Alexander the Great. Okay, which he wasn't great to our forefathers, our ancient Israelite forefathers. All right, but Alexander the Greek, right? But it says when jumping down to verse 7, First Maccabees 1 verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule, every one in his place. His servants referring to the four generals that ruled after Alexander: Lysimachus, Cassander, Ptolemy, Seleucid. All right, those were the four Hellenistic kingdoms that reigned into the earth after the death of Alexander. Okay, the Macedonian kingdom ran by Cassander, the Ptolemaic kingdom in Egypt ran by Ptolemy, the Seleucid empire started by Seleucid. Okay, and then the kingdom of Lysimachus. Okay, so it says, verse 9, and after his death they all put crowns upon themselves, meaning what? They all came into rulership, the four Hellenistic kingdoms after the death of Alexander, right? And it says, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. See that? So when the Greeks came into power, evils were multiplied in the earth via what? Hellenization. You know, the spreading of Greek culture in a known world at that time, Greek customs, Greek foods, the Greek language. All right, the worship of Greek gods via Greek mythology. All right, all those things spread forth nothing but evils and wickedness throughout the earth. All right, you know, within the Greek customs and culture, you had the practice of uncircumcision. Okay, where people left their children uncircumcised, especially amongst our people, as you read throughout the Maccabees, during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. Okay, when he came amongst our forefathers in the Holy Land, he forced a lot of our forefathers to do away with the law. Okay, no longer live according to the law, no longer circumcise our children, nor keep the Sabbath or the high holy days. All right, and stick to the law and the traditions of the law. All right, the ancient Greeks, they were one of the major empires throughout ancient history that completely ran the earth opposite of the ways of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, gymnasiums, that's another customs. Gymnasium, working out naked, literally butt naked. All right, swine, pork, eating pork was another another thing that was heavy within ancient Greek culture, the consumption of swine. All right, and those same customs transferred to the ancient Roman Empire, because the biblical nation of people that ruled ancient Rome were the same biblical nation of people that ruled ancient Greece, which were the Edomites. Okay, Esau, Edom, the Edomites. All right, and when Esau, because the ancient Western Roman Empire fell in 475/476 AD, and then 1,000 years later, at the beginning of the 1400s, you had what was known as the Renaissance, which means rebirth, where Esau, Edom basically came out of the caves and started taking over parts of Europe, starting with Italy. Okay, and rebirthed the ancient Greco-Roman system back into the earth, ultimately leading to what we see today: America, NATO, and the EU. Okay, America, NATO, and the EU is the revival of the ancient Greco-Roman system, which is known as the fourth beast system in Daniel the 7th chapter. Okay, and since Esau, Edom came out of the caves during the Renaissance period and brought back the ancient Greco-Roman system through America, NATO, and the EU, what do we see all over the earth again? Evil is being multiplied. Now, all the food is all defiled, the water is all defiled, the air is defiled. Okay, marriage is defiled, children are defiled, men and women are defiled and completely out of order. Okay, nature is defiled, the animals are defiled, everything is defiled through this man being back into power once again, starting with the Renaissance up until now. Okay, and he's done that. Okay, through a major part of his rulership is idol worship. Pushing and promoting the various idols of ancient Greece and ancient Rome into the earth all over again. All right, causing the whole world to to basically wonder after the beast all over again, that ancient Greco-Roman system. All right, so this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 37. It says, and this is going into prophecy against Babylon, which the Babylon in Jeremiah chapters 50 and 51 is speaking about Babylon the Great, okay, which is America. All right, it's talking about the Babylon that will be ruling here in these outer days, which is America, Babylon the Great. Okay, so Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 37, it says, a sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots. The horses and the chariots symbolic of what? The military equipment and the military vehicles of America. It's fighter jets, it's stealth bombers, it's tanks, it's naval warships. All right, is the and even the SpaceX. Okay, the SpaceX. These are all a part of the horses and the chariots of Babylon that we're reading right here in verse 37. The Lord said that he has a sword upon all those things. A sword just basically meaning what? Destruction. The Lord's going to bring destruction upon the military might of Babylon the Great, America, as well as the rest of the heathen nations as well. Okay, but especially upon the military of America, Babylon the Great. So it says, verse 37 again, a sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. All the people that are mingled within the midst of America, Babylon the Great. The Lord has a sword upon all of them as well, including the 2/3 of our people. All right, and ultimately the sword that is mentioned, that is speaking of right here, is the ICBM nuclear missiles. Okay, the ICBM nuclear missiles. So any and everybody here in America that's not of the elect of the nation of Israel, okay, they're going to be utterly burnt and consumed by the nuclear missiles that the Lord is getting ready to bring upon this place via the heathen nations in World War III. All right. So it says, and they shall become as women. All right, they shall become as women, meaning what? Weak, unstable, faithless. All right, and that's especially what you see. Look, when you look at the average, the average man here in America, Babylon the Great. All right, when you look at the average man here in America, he's weak, he's emasculated, he has no faith and a higher power. Okay, he's given up, and that's what you see amongst a lot of these men. They've basically given up when it comes to dating and relationships and marriage and whatnot. Due to these women being so out of order. They've given up within the workplace. They've given up when it comes to just being masculine overall. All right. And hey, a lot of these men in this country, they basically basically become like women, weak and effeminate. Okay, weak, effeminate, emasculated. that's ultimately all judgment of the Lord. Okay, so it says, a sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. All right, verse 38, a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. Okay, and this can be applied twofold because one, yeah, we see uh, you know the water drying up in this place in a physical sense via certain rivers and certain bodies of waters and certain lakes being dried up all across America. Even down here in Louisiana, the Mississippi. Well, not just here in Louisiana, but across the country as well. The Mississippi River is being dried up. Okay, the water levels within the Mississippi River are decreasing more and more, especially due to all the heat that's been taken over this country over the past few years. The past couple of summers have been reaching record high temperatures. All right, it's causing the water levels physically to dry up. All right, and as well, this can also be applied in a spiritual sense as well, because the waters can also be likened into the information and the propaganda that's being pushed in this place. All right, that's being dried up. And why is that? Because when you look around, the average American no longer trust in the mainstream news media anymore. Your Fox News, your CNN, your MSNBC, NBC. Okay, they don't trust in the mainstream news media no more like they did in times past. Okay, but now nowadays people are leaning more towards social media and even alternative media to stay up to date on things that's happening around the world and things that's happening around the country. Okay, people no longer trust in the mainstream news media and the propaganda that's being pushed forth by the media and America's pharmakeia and whatnot. All right, because it's all rooted in lies. Okay, it's all rooted in lies and misinformation. Okay, playing on the minds of the people. All right, so it says again, Jeremiah 50:38, a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is, and ultimately, why is, spiritually speaking, right? Why is all the misinformation and the propaganda of this place being dried up? Because truth is sprung up. Okay, the truth of Yahweh Shema Shai has sprung up. The prophets are out, chanting down Babylon the Great, lifting up the skirt on this place. Okay, revealing the wicked, who the wicked is. All right, and it's quenching out all this deceit and lies is going forth throughout the earth. Okay, especially going forth throughout here in America. So it says, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. So this place, America, Babylon the Great, just as it was in ancient Babylon, even going back to the Tower of Babel, all right, is full of graven images, full of idols, because that's one of the main things that ancient Babylon was known for in ancient times. All right, ancient Babylon, as well as the region of ancient Samaria, it was known for its heavy influx of idols. Okay, the Queen of Heaven worship, the worship of Nimrod, and the fir tree, or what we know today as the so-called Christmas tree. That goes back to the Tower of Babel. All right, the worship of animals and the worship of the worship of sex, the worship of women, all these worship of money. Okay, all these the various idols of ancient Babylon are back here today, here in the modern day Babylon, America, and it's all done what? Make the people of America, Babylon the Great, mad upon their idols. All right, and let's look up this word mad. All right, the word mad, Strong's H 1984, halal, and it says to shine forth, to flash forth. All right, then it goes into to praise, boast, be boastful. All right, and when you go down to definition E, it says to make a fool of, to make into a fool, to act madly, to act like a madman. All right. So all the idols that's pushed in this place upon the people via what? The music, the TV shows, the movies, the entertainment, the sports. All right. All these things are used, to push idol worship upon the people, and due to that, it's made, people become like a bunch of damn fools. All right, madmen, you know, getting into all types of left-hand perverse practices. Okay, eating horrible diets. All right, not caring about truth, not caring about righteousness, not caring about having a moral standard. Okay, it just caused people to only care about, filling their bellies and fulfilling their lust. All right, getting their rocks off. Okay, and just partying and up. You know, it's made the people mad. Okay, and when you go into in the Apocrypha, when you go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter, which speaks about the wickedness that was going on in the earth before the flood during the time of Noah. Okay, this chapter goes into how the main thing that caused the wickedness that was going on in the earth before the flood was idol worship. Okay, this is Wisdom of Solomon 14 verse 11. It says, "Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of Yahweh they are become an abomination." You see that? So all these, the idols that's been created all throughout history, okay, were all abominations to Yahweh Shema Shah. All right, even Yahweh Shah said in the book of Luke, that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination with the Most High. All right, all these idols, okay, and various people that are worshipped as idols, okay, wicked people, they're an abomination in the eyes of Yahweh Shema Shah. So it says, "And stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise." Okay, idols are stumbling blocks and snares to the souls of men, women, and children. You see, and that's why, all right, literally all throughout the scriptures, all right, the Most High Yahweh, okay, he commands our people, Israel, to stay away from idols, to stay away from, worshiping idols and whatnot. Okay, even in our laws, the very first two commandments goes into, what? Thou shalt not have no other God before me. Thou shalt not make graven images and bow down to them and worship them. Roughly paraphrasing it. The very first two laws within our laws that the Lord gave to Moses to give to us tells us to stay away from idol worship, because idols all throughout our people's history, even going back to Adam and Eve and the sons of God, and before the flood and whatnot, they were always snares and stumbling blocks to our people, even down to their souls, to their spirits. Okay, and as it says in verse 12, "For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life." Idols have always led to the corruption of life, because they've always led to philosophies and vibrations that were opposite of Yahweh Shema Shai. What is ultimately the vibration in the direction of Yahweh Shema Shai? Life. Life, righteousness, morals, order. Okay, and idols takes you away from all these things. It leads you what? To disorder, okay, wickedness, corruption, and ultimately what? Death. Okay, diseases, confusion, all these things which ultimately lead to what? Death. All right, and as you go down in this chapter, it goes more into details of the results of idol worship, as it goes into verse 23. Wicked sacrifices, child sacrifices, okay, secret ceremonies, those freak parties that the elites like to get into, those Hollywood parties and whatnot, where they wear these masks and do all types of drugs and perform all types of wicked left hand sexual practices. Okay, drinking blood. You see, these things were all going on before the flood, and these things are all going on again in this time. Because what did Yahushua say in Matthew 24? All right, the days leading up to his second coming will be just as it was in the days of Noah. All right, eating, drinking, marrying, being given into marriage. All right, all the stuff that we're reading of right here in Wisdom of Solomon 14. Okay, then in verse 24 it goes into, marriages were no longer undefiled. Okay, treachery, adultery. Okay, and then in verse 25 it goes into murder. Murder was at an all-time high before the flood. Okay, theft, corruption, covetousness, unfaithfulness. All right, verse 26, disquieting of good men. The constant harassment of those that stood up against wickedness and spoke particular truths, and spoke that the Lord was going to bring judgment upon the wickedness that was going on in the world. Okay, look at Enoch for an example. Why do you think Enoch had to be translated and beamed up? Because Enoch was prophesying and cursing out all the wickedness that was going on in the earth. Okay, especially amongst the sons of God. Okay, our people. And it goes into the defiling of souls, changing of kind, which changing of kind. What do we see it? What do we see that happening mostly in the earth in these outer days, amongst the alphabet community? Men having particular surgeries done in their bodies to change themselves into women. Women changing themselves into men. All right. Being given the right to adopt children. All right. And these alphabets, when they're allowed to adopt children, what do you think that they're doing with those children? Okay, touching them. All right. And ultimately defiling their souls. Making those children just as abominable as they are. All right. And it says disorder in marriages. Okay, we see a lot of that going on in this world. Okay, disorder in marriages, adultery. All right, and these were things that were at an all-time high. Before the flood, especially during the time of Noah, and these were also the same practices that our forefathers got into. All right, the sons of God before the flood as well. And here in these outer days, as we're in the days of Noah all over again, what do we see all over again? These things flourishing into the earth, and especially our people getting involved with these same practices as well. Okay, these are all the results of idol worship, as it goes into right here in verse 27. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. See that? So anytime all throughout history, when evils were multiplied in the earth, okay, it was all because of some idol that was worshipped in the earth. All right, some form of idol being pushed into the earth. Then it says right here in verse 28, for either they are mad when they be merry. Okay, so here we see that word mad again. For either they are mad when they be merry, or prophesy lies, or live unjustly, or else lightly forswear themselves. Yeah. So idol worship leads to all this as well. People going crazy whenever they, be merry. Whenever they're eating and drinking and gathering together. Okay. It leads to them going mad and insane when they prophesy. Okay. Just giving out all types of false prophecy and false information. Okay. Living unjustly. Just doing wickedness and doing corruption. All right, these are all the results of idol worship, and these things, pretty much sum up all the madness that's going on in the earth right now, just as it was before the flood. So that's why let's read Jeremiah 50 and 38 again. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Yep, so all the same idols that were being worshipped before the flood are back here again in these outer times, okay, causing people to, driving people mad all over again, doing wickedness, okay, being out of order, all right, being violent, okay, just believing in lies and speaking lies and misinformation, okay, being proud, all right, and just having no fear of the Lord. Just do as thou wilt spirit is in the earth all over again. Okay, let's go to the next chapter. Jeremiah 51 verse 6 says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. You see, and that's what we, the hopeful elect, are doing. Okay, we're fleeing out of the ways of Babylon spiritually to deliver our souls. Because like we read earlier in Wisdom of Solomon 14, idols are a snare and a stumbling block to the souls of men. Okay? These things, they to the flesh, they may look, pleasing, and they may look, they have you in awe, but when you get into it, they devour your soul. Okay? They destroy you internally as well as on the outside as well. So as we're reading right here in Jeremiah 51 and 6, the Lord has a particular spirit and a particular message sent to the earth to tell our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to flee out of the ways of Babylon the Great, all these idols and the practices that come with all these idols, and deliver our souls from all these things. All right, and only the elect of our people are the ones that's taking heed to this message. Okay, and then not to mention, how does the Lord have this message preached throughout the earth? Through the men of the Lord. Okay, the prophets, the apostles, the teachers. Okay, the 144,000, which will be singing the new song, preaching the everlasting gospel with the name of the Father and the Son written in their foreheads. Okay, telling our people what? Fear Yahweh Shema Shai. The hour of his judgment is about to come. Okay, Babylon the Great is fallen. Don't worship this beast system or its image, and damn sure don't take the charagma of this beast. Okay, Jeremiah 51 and 6 pretty much sums up the overall message of the new song. Okay, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver your soul out of this place, because that's ultimately what this place wants. The elites of Esau, Edom, that run Babylon the Great, they want your soul. They want your soul on a digital grid. They want you to bow the knee to this beast system. Okay, ultimately the NWO, and stick a charagma inside of you, in which the charagma, literally, when you go into it in the Greek in Revelation 13 and 16, it literally says an idolatrous image. So that charagma, that C-hip, is literally an idol. Okay, and when you allow Esau to stick that charagma inside of you, you're literally allowing Esau to put an idol inside of you and to ultimately control you and make him your God. All right. So the Lord has a message preached in the earth through his men, telling our people to stay away from all these things and don't bow the knee. Okay, flee out of the midst of Babylon, deliver every man his soul, be not cut off in her iniquity. Okay, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. All right, by way of what? Nuclear destruction. Okay, the Lord's going to use those missiles to turn this place into a lake of fire. Okay, it says, verse 7, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. All right, and what is the wine of Babylon? It's talking about its philosophies. Its doctrine, its policies, its democracy, its dollar. All right, its feminism, its alphabet agenda. Okay, this is all and that's just to name a few. Okay, this is a major part of the wine of Babylon that's been spread throughout the earth to make all these nations morally and spiritually drunken. And that's why, as it continues to say, therefore the nations are mad. And this word mad In Jeremiah 51:7, the word mad, as we see here again, Strong's H1984, halal, halal. And as it said in definition E, to make a fool of, make into a fool, to act madly, act like a madman. All right. So because of these nations taking on the ways of Babylon the Great America, its policies, its dollar, its feminism, its alphabet agenda, its democracy, all these things, it's caused these nations to be mad. Mad in the sense of being foolish, being morally corrupt, being financially corrupt, being corrupt, at their leadership. All right. And it has ultimately led to these nations being mad in an emotional sense, because these the leaders of these different nations, they're looking at how the ways of Babylon America has corrupted their people, corrupted their women, their men, their children, their family structure, and they're realizing that they shouldn't have followed the ways of America. They shouldn't have taken on that dollar. That's why you have various countries pretty much dumping the dollar. Even certain countries that are a part of the EU, such as Turkey, for example. You got Turkey talking about leaving the EU to join with the BRICS nations. All right, and you even as of recently, you've had Saudi Arabia pretty much do away with the dollar. Okay, in which all this week you haven't heard not one new mainstream news media outlet cover that information, of Saudi Arabia pretty much doing away with the dollar. Okay. And so, hey, because that dollar, along with the rest of America's ways and policies and influence, has caused these nations to be mad. And that's why you see these nations pretty much ramping up their military power to gear up for war against America via World War III. Okay, to ultimately shoot missiles, nuclear missiles on this place and utterly burn this place with fire. Okay, to ultimately fulfill the will of the Lord. You see? So the idols of America, the idols of Babylon the Great, has caused the nations around the world to be spiritually drunken, to be morally corrupt, financially corrupt, corrupt at the leadership level, corrupt within their militaries. Okay, and it's caused the whole world to go mad, to go insane, to go crazy, to turn for the worse, like we read in the etymology of the word mad. All right, and leading up to when Yahushua comes back, things are going to get even more mad. Things are going to get even more crazy and more violent and more worse. All right. That's why ultimately, that's ultimately why, as it said at the latter part of verse 6 in this chapter, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Okay, the Lord is getting ready to judge America because of all this corruption and all this madness that is pushed forth throughout the earth. All right. Let's get one more. Close it out. I don't want this to be too long. All right. This is Sirach, chapter 40, verse 9. It says, "Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood." You see? And we see all types of flood-like behavior going on in the earth all over again, just as it was in the days of Noah. So now, this time, the Lord is getting ready to bring not a flood of water, all right, as he promised in Genesis 9th chapter, that he would no longer flood the earth with water. But now, this time, the Lord is getting ready to bring forth a flood of fire, all right, nuclear fire, as well as fire from the chariots of Yahushua and the angels. Okay, he's going to use fire in this time to bring judgment upon the wicked and the ungodly upon the earth, including the 2/3 of our people. All right, and part of the judgments that the Lord is going to bring is, as it read in verse 9, death and bloodshed, strife and the sword. Okay, divisions, civil unrest. Okay, diseases and whatnot. And as it goes into calamities, famine, tribulation, all right, energy shortages, blackouts, okay, EMP attacks, all forms of communication being shut down. You see, not being able to travel and enter into a city. You see, and the scourge, okay, the teeth of wild beasts, all right, apparitions, okay, supernatural events. All these things are also major parts of the judgments, the manifold judgments that the Lord is getting ready to bring upon the earth in these latter days. Okay, to bring judgment upon the wicked of the earth. You see, because of all this flood-like behavior and all this madness being brought upon the earth. So hey, that's why we, this of the hopeful elect, we pray and hope to be covered by the blood of Mashiach Yahushai when the Lord brings all these things, makes all these things come to pass, so that we can be covered and protected from all these things. All right, as Ezekiel 9:4 goes into that mark, that Tawah, it goes into what? Exemption from judgment. You see, exemption from all, we're being exempt more and more through the Holy Spirit from all this madness and all this idol worship and enchantments that's being pushed upon the earth. And Lord willing, we this up the hopeful elect. We hope to be covered by the blood of Yahushua, to be exempt from all the judgments that the Lord is getting ready to bring upon the earth, from all this madness and idol worship that's being pushed. You see? So that being said, I'm end it off right there. Lord willing, this video is edifying. And until next time, Shalom.